All right. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ijdal here, and hopefully you all can hear me.
Yep, loud and clear there.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna be beginning here shortly, and before we do that, let's just sort of introduce ourselves and introduce where we are coming from. So I'm sitting here in Karachi, Pakistan, and it's almost 12 a.m. my time. Eddie says that he's coming in from Sydney at 5 a.m. That's pretty cool. What are you doing up so early? Uh, Early bird gets the worm. Sam here says he's from New Jersey and it's 3 p.m. Glad to have you here, Sam. So the agenda behind today's webinar is basically I've got two of the absolute best people when it comes to SEO marketing, Todd and John. These two guys, they have been doing SEO for almost 2 decades now, 20 years since 2000. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's almost how old I am. Not sure if you all are aware, but my date of birth is 1999. I'm not even sure if John and Todd are aware of this. But I almost turned 20 in August, 23rd of August. And these guys, they have 20 years of experience just in SEO alone. How cool is that, right? So, with that being said, these guys really know their SEO stuff. So, hey, Todd, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How's it going? I can. How can you hear me? Okay.
It's going.
Oh, it was going well. I think we may have lost you, but hey, that's okay, man. You know what? It's all good. Let me just take it from here and introduce myself. Hi, guys. My name is Todd Spears, and as Mr. Ahmed said, I've been around SEO for at least 20 years. I've been doing some things in that regard. Building some processes and some strategies and some software to to help internet marketers rank sites in Google. So I've been around for a long time, and I also have my really, really good friend here, Mr. John Limbacher. John, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Right on. I can hear you pretty good too. So John and I, we've actually been friends for probably over, I think I met him around 2008 or 2007 at an event. So we've known each other for a good 12 or 13 years. I was speaking at an event and he was attending an event, and then we kind of started mixing it up during one of the breaks, and I started learning all about him and how long he's been doing SEO and all of the great clients that he has. He runs a big agency out in California and it does some amazing work for a lot of big companies. So he and I kind of got together here over the last several months and wanted to come out with this new software that he has. But before we do that, John's going to explain to you guys a lot of the way Google actually is ranking sites and why they think the way they think and why they are doing what they're doing. So I'll give you a better understanding of what we're going to show you as well here in just a little bit. So we're about 5 minutes past the hour. It looks like everybody's on that's going to come on. If you have any questions, you probably should just use the Q&A box. Stay out of the comments box, the chat box, I mean. That might get you a little bit distracted. We may not see it over there. There might be too much chatter. But try to just stay focused on the webinar and use the Q&A button down at the bottom in the middle if you have a question, and we'll certainly get you an answer to that question before we all part here today. So we should be on here for probably around an hour to an hour and a half, probably more like an hour and a half with answering all your questions at the end, depending on how many there are. So we shouldn't be on here too long. But guys, you're gonna learn some stuff today that you probably never knew before on how sites are being ranked in Google and what we can do in order to get our own sites or our client sites ranked in Google as well. So I'm going to be quiet now, and I'm going to pass this over to John and let him begin this presentation. John, take it away.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Welcome aboard, you guys. And like Todd said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Google and where they've shifted and all that kind of stuff. So you guys are going to be in for a treat. You're going to learn some really good stuff here today. So one of the things I want to start out talking about buyer keywords. these are high search volume keywords that are worth a lot of money. And for those of you that don't know what a buyer keyword is, I kind of describe them as a long tail specific, not generic. If you guys are going after generic keywords, you're getting a lot of tire kickers, and there's very few buyers in there. It's really expensive and they don't convert. So buyer keywords is what we are focused on. I always have been focused on those. I've never played the, the macho game of, oh, I can rank this generic keyword. Well, so what? It didn't make any money. I'm focused on the buyer keywords. So that's what I'm going to talk about, how to get those ranked today. And, after, I'm going to call this Google 2.0. You guys, if you've been in SEO for a while, you know all the ups and downs. And this is really a huge shift in Google's thinking and in their ranking. And I'm just going to call it Web 2.0. And after Web 2.0, very few people know how to rank sites. They don't know how to rank these type of keywords anymore. And it's all because of Google 2.0. And that's what we're going to get into. And I'm going to show you that not only we know how to rank these keywords, but so do our students. I've been teaching people SEO for, well, since about 2008. I've been doing SEO back into the 90s, about the mid 90s. And when I started, Google wasn't even around. In fact, Yahoo was just barely coming online. So I've got to see it all here. And I've got to teach an awful lot of people how to get ranking on these buyer keywords. So that's what we're going to get into. Here's a student of ours. And this is all of these testimonials and case studies I'm going to share with you today. These are all based on a new tactic, a new technique that we're able to rank Google. And this one says, he's talking about one of his clients here. This is an agency guy and one of our students as well. And he says all of their keywords rank in the top 10 on page 1 of Google. This is after using this technique. So all of these are related to this particular technique I'm going to share with you guys today. Here's a day spa. When we implemented this, it just started going vertical. Here's a water sports company. I've got a bunch of these. This is life insurance. If you guys are trying to rank stuff that's really hard, like life insurance and real estate and stuff like that, the higher dollars that are at stake, typically the harder it is to rank because there's more competitors. But if you look at this, when we started on this, it pretty much doubled their keywords there, for their organic traffic. So, and then that's in life insurance. Now here's one. This is something I want to cover with you guys. If you've been in SEO and you watch your reports, sometimes you see this. This is a typical thing, and we call it the Google dance. When you start doing SEO, a lot of times, you'll have this traumatic rise, and then a lot of times you'll have this big fall. And what happens is that is actually part of Google's algorithm. For lack of a better word, we'll call it the Google dance. So I want to share that with you. If you're doing SEO and you're doing anything that could potentially manipulate Google's results by doing SEO, basically, what happens is they have a thing in place where they're going to test it. They're going to see if it's real. And what they do is they falsely remove the rank temporarily to see if you shift gears. Because a lot of people, like, this is very standard in the SEO world. You'll be doing stuff and then you'll see a drop and you assume that that's because you did something wrong and Google's onto you. Well, they're just testing you to see if that was true. So if they drop the rank and all of a sudden you shift and you stop doing what you were doing to make the rank go up, then they've got you. It's a mouse trap. It's not a dance. It's a trap. So be very, very careful of that if you're doing anything like link building, on-page optimization, search signals, anything that you're doing. If you see this, continue the course. It does not mean that you did anything wrong. And then you'll get rewarded. And when you get rewarded, usually the reward is bigger than the first spike. So believe me, watch out. Be careful of this Google dance thing. All right, so So what happened? Why is Google 2.0? What is it, and what did it do? Basically traditional SEO seems like it's gone. In traditional SEO, we had on-page optimization, which was all coding, and then you had off-page optimization, which is, for the most part, link building and social signals and directory listings. All of that stuff was outside means pointing to your site as an authority. And that was the old Google. That was the old ranking. So the new one, Google 2.0, it features big brands. Big brands are literally dominating. And you can see that if you go and you just go to Google for almost any keyword you want, almost anything that you could purchase or buy or want to shop for, just go ahead and type it in Google and you'll see it's big brands all over the top. The big brands are dominating. So what happened was it squashed the little guys. If you're a little guy and you don't have big brand recognition, Google's not paying attention to you anymore. So literally that is what happened. So, and here's what's behind it all. When I say Google 2.0, I'm talking about their artificial intelligence. They brought this into the mix as a ranking factor. And in essence, what this is, it's really simple. This is basically user interaction. This is how your users actually interact with your site. I predicted this was going to happen back in 2010. And by 2011, we were in full swing creating a software to actually game this system. And we've been using it very, very effectively ever since, until we hit this new wall here about a year ago. And it was another shift, which is, again, what I'm calling the 2.0, the Google 2.0. And I'm going to get into exactly what that was. But it's all based on artificial intelligence. Now, if you think about that from an SEO perspective, that's an absolute nightmare for us in the SEO industry, because we used to be able to manipulate the results with those two things I'd mentioned, the on-page and the off-page. But now we actually have to worry about how the users interact with the site once they get there. So it brings a whole new level of complexity into this game. So what I'm going to show you is how we can still easily rank those buyer keywords. And this is a big thing. This is a big thing when you're doing work for clients, is the fear of penalty. We do this with absolutely no fear of penalty to our clients. So that's going to be a huge benefit for you guys. You don't have to worry. This is not something that is going to get you in trouble. This new technique that we've developed, it's absolutely bulletproof. All right, so our new strategy, basically what it does, it trains RankBrain and helps you rank. And it takes about 2 minutes of work to actually implement it. It's literally, it's one of those set it and forget it type of things. And it goes to work and it does the stuff on the back end that trains Google's RankBrain. It's actually teaching their artificial intelligence what a good site looks like. And it happens to be like yours, just like yours. So it's really cool. Here's more case studies here. This is a publisher. Again, we implemented it. It just went straight up. And again, this is a new site. This thing does not have many keywords. It only ranks for 17 keywords. But you can see it was flat. The baseline was just flat until we did this. Then it took off. Same thing here. This is a prosperity company. Here's an accounting firm. Facials, we've tried this on a number of different industries, and it's worked across the board. It's really been an incredible move. So just a little bit about who we are. Todd had mentioned me and Chris. I am kind of the one that masterminded this thing back in 2011 and brought it to life for the first time. And then Chris and I had been using this for our customers for all those years. And then about a year ago, we sat down and we looked at the results and we weren't getting the same results. So we said, hey, we need to redevelop this. And Chris basically went to work on the back end redevised the system and recreated the software that we're actually using now. It's absolutely brilliant. In a minute, I'm going to show you how it works and what it does. But between the two of us, and Todd too, we've been working with Todd for a long time. Me and Chris started doing SEO before anybody even knew what to call it. Back then, it was so new. Google wasn't even around. In fact, Yahoo had just come out, and Yahoo wasn't even a search engine. It was a directory. It was a listing directory. And we were doing SEO on Alta Vista and Web Crawler and Lycos and all of those. We've basically developed systems throughout the years in SEO, and to drive over 3 million visitors a month to our customers. In fact, we created systems that forced Google to change their algorithms based on they couldn't get rid of us. So we actually forced a few of those moves. And the other thing, like I said, I predicted this in 2010. Basically, I have been able to effectively predict every major shift in the search engines since they started, because I can see what we're doing as an industry, and all I have to do is think, if I were Google, what would I do to counter this? And every time I've been right on the money. So we're very good at predicting what's going to happen. That's me, John Limbacher, and then Chris Armiston. He's the programmer behind, he's got a dev team that's doing all the development for this. And, here's some of the clients these are actually some of Chris's clients, and he's been doing these for years. If you go to Google and you type in board shorts, you'll see Hurley. That's because of his work. And then Nike and I believe it's Nike and Asics. Nike and Asics. He optimized for wrestling shoes here. And today, if you go to it right now, if you go and you type wrestling shoes into Google, you're going to see the drop down here recommending those. Those links will take you right to the sites that he's optimized. So this is a big thing here. If you can work your way into Google's recommendations in their drop down box, guess what? You can dominate that page, because usually those are brands. I mean, who else is going to come up other than the brand for Nike wrestling shoes, or Asics wrestling shoes? So that's a really powerful thing, to be able to get your brand recommended by Google when somebody starts to put in a generic search. That is really, really powerful. That is something that's a byproduct of what we're going to do, what we're going to show you how to do today. So it's really cool. So what I want you to do, if you guys have been in SEO, what I want you to do is just kind of forget about what you thought you knew, because I might show you some new stuff today that could make a real difference in your SEO efforts. So I'm going to talk about cracking Google's patent. That's one of the things, some people think we're a little masochistic or crazy or whatever, because one of the things we do is, we'll look at patents to figure out how something works. And when a lot of people look at this stuff, this is what they see. It's just like, oh my God, what the hell is that? It just doesn't mean anything. It's gobbledygook. But like when Chris and I look at this stuff, we can actually make sense of it. And what happens is certain things start to rise to the top of what's important to us as SEO guys. What's important? How does this thing work? How can we get in there, and how can we take control of it and effectively manipulate it? And one of the things that we found in the latest patent that we looked at was navigational search had kind of risen to the top as a very important factor. Couple that with brand recognition, and you've got the basis for how to really manipulate Google search results today. So that's what we're going to get into. Notice you've got informational and transactional searches too. These are the three things. These are the three types of keywords that we found that Google's paying attention to. Informational type is the majority. Most of the searches done, 80% of searches are informational. Those are not buyer keywords. Those are not leading to a transaction. Then you've got 9% are transactional. Those are ones where people are actually looking for, like the price of an iPhone. Those are transactional searches. That's somebody that's getting ready to buy. Those are the ones that are really important. But here, for the shift in rank, what we found is navigational searches. If your site does not have these, your chances of ranking is pretty slim today. And what these are very specific searches that somebody knows who you are. Like if they're looking for a Scottsdale dentist, that's a specific search. Now, when you add the name of the dental practice onto that, you've got what I call a navigational brand search. Those are an absolute blockbuster to move the needle inside Google. The big trick is, how do you create those? How do you get people out in the world to actually do that? That's what we're going to show you today. These navigational searches, what they do is they represent real users' search behavior. If the real users out there have a search behavior of adding brand names to searches to look for things specifically, and you don't have that, you're going to be up against a wall and you're not going to be able to get over it. They also show the intent of the user. A lot of times, these are buyer keywords. These wind up being really, really good buyer keywords. It shows popularity via search versus links. We used to show Google popularity by links. It was who had the most links was the most popular. That was the way Google 1.0 worked. But Google 2.0 now is looking for search and basing its popularity factor on search. Links are still important. Don't get me wrong. You still need the traditional SEO stuff going on here, but you also need search. So the other thing is, this is what Google uses to show them who belongs on top. And until now, this was really almost impossible to manipulate. Think about it. How would you manipulate that? Like, you could used to be able to get all the links you wanted. That was easy to manipulate. But how do you actually manipulate the users? I'm sure you guys have heard of Rand Fishkin from SEO Moz. He did a little experiment here, and this was actually a couple of years ago. This might have been a few years ago. And he proved that we were right. He proved that navigational searches and ranking went together. And he did this little experiment where he had everybody on his Twitter list, and he tweeted out an experiment for all of his users or all of his followers to go to Google and put IMEC space lab into Google and run the search, and then click on his site. Now, when the experiment started, it was 6:03 p.m. and he was in the number 7 spot down here. His site was right there. Moz.com was in number 7 for that particular keyword. Now, just 3 hours later, with all of his Twitter followers running the search and clicking onto his site, he was able to move that to number 1 in 3 hours. That was proof. That was all the proof that we needed to go to work and really dial this thing in and get it to do that. So it's absolutely true. The user interaction, that UI, that's not user interface in this instance. This is user interaction signals. This is Google's new weapon of choice to wipe out the SEO industry. They're looking at the user to determine who belongs on top. If you ask me, I think it's brilliant. I predicted it would happen. I didn't like it because it was going to be so hard to manipulate, but it's absolutely brilliant on their part to sweep out the garbage and really start valuing sites on what users feel that belong at the top. So back to SEO now. If you don't have these navigational searches, basically human behavior, voting for your site, and all you have is on-page and authority links, you're missing 1/3 of the algorithm. I actually think it might be more. I think it might be half or better. But just for simplicity, I broke it into thirds here. You've got 3 pieces now to the SEO game. So this is why SEO seems so hard right now. It literally feels like you're pushing a boulder up a hill and you're not getting anywhere. This is the reason why. So I'm about to make this a whole lot easier for you. I'm going to show you what the 5 new search signals that make up a third of this algorithm. I'm going to show you what those are and how to get them to work in your favor. So here they are basically. It's searches from mobile devices. This is a big key to when we redeveloped our software. Our software used to be desktop only, and it worked really, really good for many years. And then when it started to decline, Chris and I, we discovered, hey, mobile devices make up a huge factor now. So that was, we had to go back to the drawing board and reconfigure what we were doing to include mobile devices. So actually getting people to search from mobile devices. Proximity search. And a lot of you are going to think this only matters for a local business, but I can tell you you're wrong. Wherever the business location is, Google has put together a profile. They're profiling businesses for what's natural as far as search signals. And getting searches from local, from the locality of the actual business, even if it's a national company, makes sense to them. So getting searches from the local area in the highest form, and then getting them less and less as it moves out. So we call that proximity search. Navigational searches, we've covered that. That's one of the new AI factors. Brand search, especially when brand connects to the navigational search. And this is what's made it really unfair to the little guys. This is what literally wiped out the SEO industry as we knew it. And that's why I refer to it as Google 2.0. This is it. It's these 5 new factors. And then revised search. This is what we call pogo sticking. Google hates pogo sticking, especially on its own site. What pogo sticking is, you guys might have referred to it as bounce. It's a bounce. Google does not like bounce. When Google sees a bounce, what they know about that is they sent the wrong, they sent the visitor to the wrong place. They don't like that. So when you run a search, this is really, really powerful right here. If you didn't hear anything I said until now, pay attention to this. If you pogo stick on Google itself, it gives you the biggest ranking factor of all. What I'm talking about here is if a search is run for a keyword and you don't come up for it, and the user pogo sticks back to the search box, basically tells Google, hey, I didn't get what I was looking for. They add your brand to the keyword. Now you come up, now you click, now they show a good user experience. That right there is the most powerful factor in ranking today. I mean, really seriously, you should pay attention to that, if nothing else. That's how you move the needle. And when you do this all right, when you take those 5 signals and you do them all right, what you're doing is you're creating trust and top Google rankings. Google trusts your site. They know that people know about you. And there's nothing better than that right now in this new search world. So this is basically what they want to see. They want to see all these devices running searches for you. It's going to move your listing up just like Rand Fishkin moved his listing up by getting users to actually do something in your favor in the search box. It's going to get you top listings, more traffic, more leads, more sales, and obviously more profits. That's what it's all about. So we built a machine, and our machine, we're calling it Sitepop. I think Todd had mentioned that I had a predecessor machine that we used to call Rainmaker that did this on desktop. Our Sitepop actually does it on mobile devices, which is incredibly powerful. So Sitepop is what we use to rank these sites with no fear of penalty. And it includes all 5 of those crucial AI factors that we just covered. Every one of them. This is, I said this before, I think it's more than a third of the algorithm. And as far as I know, I don't know of anyone else that's doing this. This is the only tool that addresses all of these signals. Everything we talked about, Sitepop does. It's completely safe. This is back to the whole thing of you're not going to get banned from using this because it's completely natural. These are navigational searches by real users. Everything is completely randomized. There will never be the same action done twice. This does not use proxies, and it's very simple to run. Runs on Android, iPhone, Windows, and Mac. So we've got it multi-platform. So the signals are going to be varied. They're going to be coming from every direction, every type of device. All kinds of randomization is going on. So it's completely safe. There's no way for Google to like look at this and say, these guys are doing something fishy. There's nothing fishy about any of these activities, especially since they're coming from everywhere. It emulates, Sitepop emulates customer type searches. Again, it uses real users' devices. This isn't like a proxy network. This is a network of real devices, real cell phones, real tablets, real computers. It provides the mobile search signals on all the mobile type devices. It does navigational searches so you can rank on Google. It also does the pogo sticking thing I talked about. And it literally trains RankBrain to show them that you belong at the top. Again, it's completely natural. Our network is made up of our own customers. Everyone that has Sitepop becomes part of the network. Each one of their devices that they connect runs about 17 searches a day per device. Again, it's not a lot of searches off of it. It's a very natural, normal number of searches. And when I say roughly, remember, it's all randomized. It might do 10 searches. It might do 25. It's just completely a randomized number. Everything about this is randomized. The proximity searches, we talked a little bit about that. Wherever the location of the business is, it's going to find the devices that are closest first, and it's going to hit them from there the heaviest, and then it will move out as it goes out. And another thing, most of the searches are performed in daylight hours at local time. Not all of them, but the majority of them, again, so it looks natural. These are all important things. If you're trying to game a system, you need to figure out what the system is looking for, what is natural about it, and what is it favoring. And then you need to slide yourself into that mix without showing up on anybody's radar. That's exactly what we're doing. Here you can see, this is kind of an old screenshot here. This is from about a couple months ago before we really started promoting this heavily. And you can already see all the user devices there. Like these arrows show, like under that one bullet there, there's 45 users. So you can see there's thousands of users in the network at this point, and they're not just in the US, they're all over the world. We've got quite a few now in the UK. We've got a bunch of them down in New Zealand, Australia. They're starting to populate through Pakistan, India, all through that part of the world. We've even got some down in South Africa. South Africa is starting to populate now. So the more users that join, the bigger and the stronger this network becomes. It's really cool. This is an example of a CBD company that we ran a test on here recently. This was in July last month. Actually 2 months ago now. We're in September. I can't believe how time is flying here. But again, it shows a major climb when we started doing this here. And then we had a huge drop. That was the Google dance. And look what happened. It popped right back and keeps on going up. So again, I talked about that in the beginning. Be careful of altering course when the Google dance comes, because it's a trap. Don't alter course. Here's some of the keywords that we ranked for. You know, what is hemp oil good for? These are all very, very competitive keywords in the CBD space. And within a very short time, this was in July 23rd of this year, within a very short time, we got these keywords up on the first page. A lot of them were on the first page. A couple of them, actually 3 of them in the top 3. You guys know the top 3 is where all the action happens. That's where you want to be. That's where the game is played. Here is a luxury real estate site in Crested Butte. This was a test we did back in March. This was 2 days. This was from the 25th to the 27th. We hit this really hard, and you can see some of these, like Crested Butte Real Estate, went from number 10 to number 3 in 2 days. Again, this was like hitting this really hard, but you can see this actually moves the needle. These are really competitive keywords here. I was doing SEO without this for 2 years to get these up to this state here. And then within 2 days, we pushed them here. It's crazy how that worked. Okay, here's one from, this is the same thing, back from July. We started this company here about a week before this screenshot. I wish we shot one the day we started, because it was all NAs. And then all of a sudden, and again, property management in Orange County, this stuff is really competitive. And this happened pretty quickly. So how does it work? I told you I would share exactly how it works, what we're actually doing. And this is basically it. We perform a search for your keyword, the keyword that you want to rank for. We scroll the search result of Google looking for your domain. When we find your domain, we're going to basically click on it. If it doesn't find your domain in the first 5 pages, then it pogo sticks. It revises the search and it adds your brand to the keyword, reruns the search again. This is really important. This is what shows Google that you did not find what they were looking for. The searcher did not find what they were looking for. Google hates that. Remember I said Google hates pogo sticking. They hate bounce, especially on their own site. It tells them, hey, we did not do a service for this searcher. We need to figure this out. How can we serve them better? So once it finds your site, once it pogo sticks around to your site comes up, it finds it, then Sitepop clicks the link to visit your website. Again, remember, this is from a real user's device. This is like from a cell phone or a tablet, or it could be even from a desktop computer. But the searcher clicks to visit the site. It spends several minutes on each page. So it spends time on random pages throughout the site. It's clicking internal links, going deeper and deeper, and ultimately it's going to land on your contact page, or whatever page you want to be the final search page or the final visit page. Typically it's a contact page, because what they want to do, they want to get your information, they want to call you, contact you, and then they're done, and then they close the session. Again, this is a really important factor. By closing the session, it shows Google you found what you were looking for, and Google absolutely loves this. Your odds of them sending you more traffic, if this is what happens, is really, really high. It goes through the roof. All right, so here is some key features. Have you seen traction keywords we can get to move really fast? What I call a traction keyword is a keyword that you already rank on page 2 or 3 for. Like that luxury real estate site, you could see we were ranking on page 2 or the end of page 1, and we were able to push those up really, really fast. If you put in generic keywords, it's going to take forever and you're going to feel like it's not working. So it's really important to use the right keywords for any SEO strategy. If you're an agency, this is going to help you keep your customers longer. As you know, SEO customers fall off really quickly if you can't show them results. So it's going to help you hold your customers longer. It's fully automated. Literally, once you set it up, it pretty much rides. There might be some times where you got to restart or whatever, but it's, for the most part, you plug it in and you let it do its thing. We also have a white labeled version available for agencies if you want to resell this as a service. It runs real-time reporting, like those blue screens I showed you, those screenshots. That was actually the app running on my cell phone. So it gives you have full control over the campaign. If you want to change the keywords, if you want to change the brands that connect to it, all of that stuff, you have full control over all of it. So setting up, let me talk a little bit about setting up a project, because this is important. You guys got to know, hey, what am I in for to get this thing actually working? I told you it's 2 minutes worth of work. It literally is, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a project. But first, I want to tell you what a project is. There's been a little confusion about this, and I just want to make this really clear. A project consists of a domain. So when we're doing a project with Sitepop, we are focused on the domain. It is not page specific. It's looking in Google to see what page Google thinks that you belong on top for. So this is how we do it. When we run a search, we're looking for the first page that shows up for that domain. We also want multiple brand variations, because we don't want the same brand being attached to every keyword. We want to mix that up a little bit. So a brand variation might be the name of your business. Another variation of that might be the name of your domain name. That's also a brand. Another one might be your name. If you're a dental practice, you might have 3 dentists. Every one of those dentist names is a potential brand that could be connected to a keyword to bring you up. And that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about searchers actually knowing to do that. That shows Google that you are known. Okay, also on a project, you can use up to 12 keywords. What you might want to do to start is try with 3 keywords, push the power to those 3, and then add more as you move along. But you can run up to 12 keywords. The more keywords you use, the less searches that will happen for each one. That's why I say you might want to start with 3 just to get quicker results. Each project gets a project code. Now you take the project code and you connect it to your devices. Each device that you add to the network has a unique project code that says, hey, this project is for that device, or that device is for this project. What you want to do is you want to connect 3 devices to each project, so you get roughly 500 searches a month. Each device you connect. When I talk about a device, I'm talking about a cell phone, a tablet, a computer. Each one you connect with that project code gets you approximately 166 searches a month. What we have found is about 500 is where it really moves the needle nicely for most projects. So that's why I say you want to connect 3 devices. Most people have 3 devices readily available. Most of us have either a spouse or a sibling or a business partner, and almost everyone on the planet now has more than 1 device. It's pretty much a given. We all have a cell phone. So that's 1 device. If you have a spouse or a friend or a sibling, anybody else, they've got 1 too. That's 2 devices. Now, most everybody still has a computer or a laptop or a tablet. Those all count as devices. All you need is 3 for a project to get 500 searches a month. So here's how you set it up. You just put in the project name. That could be anything. Another cool thing is we've got these little question marks. If you roll over, they give you helpful hints of what to put in. Here is the website URL. Now that's where you just put the domain in. This is not actually a long tail URL. This is just your domain name. We should probably update that to make it clear. But just domain, whatever your domain.com, that's it. That's all you put in there. If you put the HTTP in, it's going to strip it out anyway. So it's going to fix it for you. You put a contact email address, and then you put your company or brand name. You can put more than 1. Once you put the first one in, you hit enter, and it'll give you another box to put another one in. I believe you can put up to 5 brand names in there. And again, those are going to rotate out to make it look natural. And then you go to the keywords. You put 1 keyword in the box, then hit enter. It'll give you another box to put the next one in. It'll max out at 12. Like I said, if you want more searches per keyword, you put less keywords in. If you guys, like some people say, I have a brand new site, I don't want it to get hit very hard, well then just connect 1 device. 1 device will get you about 166 searches a month. And if you've got, let's say you've got 12 keywords, you put all your keywords in there, it's going to split that between 166 searches. So it's only going to be a few per keyword. It's not going to be anything outrageous. It's going to keep you safe and under the radar, no problem. Contact page. This is the last page. This is the one where it's going to hit. It's going to stay there for a couple minutes, then it's going to close out the browser. And then allowed searches, like most of these, it's a default of 500. If you get the agency version, you can actually change the default to however many searches you want. So that's an editable field in the agency version, but not the others. And then you put the company address. Remember, this is for the proximity. If the company is like a home-based business and you don't want to put the home address, no problem. Just put the city. Whatever address you put in here, it's going to populate with the latitude and longitude, so we can look for devices that are close by to run the searches for you. And then you hit Save Project, and that literally is it. You can do that in about 2 minutes. And providing you've done your keyword research and you know what your domains are, you can fill that form out in about 2 minutes. And then once it's running, you just let it run. Connect your devices and let it happen. Here's what the app looks like. Like, this is a screenshot of my phone. So it'll show live, it'll show your page load time, it'll show when this was last checked, it'll show the keywords, where they rank, and then the agency details. If you're a white label, it will actually show your agency details here, so that's all your customers see. It runs under the label of marketing assistant, so it does not tie back to Sitepop. That way your customers will never know what you're doing behind the scenes to actually get the results for them. So it is truly white labeled under market assistant with your agency details in here. So who's going to benefit from this? I'm not even going to insult your intelligence and go through the list. Let's just say everyone. Anyone with a website will benefit from this. This is something I tell people. I say, imagine controlling the best traffic on the planet. And when I say that, I can tell you guys for sure, search traffic is by far the best traffic on the planet. And I don't just say that because I'm an SEO guy. I am actually an advertising guy, and I know a lot about traffic. I know a lot about traffic from different sources. But what I can tell you, any traffic outside of search is disruptive marketing, and you better be really good at grabbing people's attention. The difference is search traffic is someone that's in flow. They're actually moving in a direction toward you. All you have to do is show up. They're actively looking for what you have to offer. So when I say it's the best traffic on the planet, it really is. If you're selling something, there is nothing better than getting in front of people that are ready to buy it, that are actively looking for you. So just imagine controlling that traffic, being able to compete with major brands, having something that no one else has, and being able to get sites ranked when no one else can. You literally cannot get this anywhere else. You've got to be able to get users to do these signals for you to make this happen. So does it really work? I think I've shown a lot of proof here that yes, this actually works. Here's more. These are, this is just more case studies. This is one of our beta testers. It said move to first page 2 to 4 for multiple keywords. It also, this guy says his Google My Business rankings improved into the 3-pack too. We didn't intend that to happen, but that seems to be another byproduct of getting this right. Here's Matt, a new user. This is somebody that just came on recently here. Or actually, this was from a last promo. This was from March, but he had recently came on. So he was a new user to this. Says he pushed your tool to the limits and came out victorious. He was very happy. He gave us actually a full case study on some stuff that he had done for his clients. Here is, let's see, I don't remember who sent this one in. They blanked out because they didn't want to, this was Roger. He didn't want people to know what he was doing, but basically he sent this in showing that these keywords had never ranked before, and now they're all on page 1. So pretty cool stuff. This is Anthony. He was promoting a Spanish flamenco guitarist. That is actually a real keyword, and found him in page 3. Says this stuff works. Here's Will, another beta tester. Will actually uses Pro Rank Tracker to track all of his keywords. He said 50 to 60% of my keywords show some improvement after a short time using this. Here's Andrew, an agency owner. He says, we were able to snag 2 top 10 rankings within 2 weeks for our first client. Not too shabby. So pretty cool stuff. These just go on and on and on. This is a dentist. That last one was a dentist. He actually sent a couple of screenshots where he was ranking. Okay, so how would you do this if you didn't have Sitepop? This is something that we actually tested using micro workers to do this, to actually run these searches for us. It was a pain in the butt, but we used it long enough to prove that it actually did work. There was some inherent problems with it. One is the cost, but that wasn't the big one. The big one was the management. My God, it's a nightmare to manage this type of a project. For you to get 500 searches from micro workers in India at 25 cents a piece, which that's about the going rate, each project would cost you 125 bucks. And that does not include your time to manage 500 micro workers in India. Just figure how much that's going to cost you. So that's what it would take. And then the worst part is all these searches are going to come out of India. How's that going to make your site look? Talk about showing up on the radar. That's not a good idea. So what if I told you you could get 500 searches a month from our network of real users for under 10 bucks? And the process, as you saw, is automated after you set the campaign up. Here it is. And there's a link to our actual sales page here. It's sprout-tech.com/go. And we've got 2 versions here. A pro version, you get 10 projects. So you can literally do this on 10 websites. Most of you guys, I think, are promoting affiliate offers and things like that. So you've got multiple websites. So we give you 10 projects. So you get 12 keywords a piece, up to 12. So that's 120 keywords you could cover with a pro version. It's 500 searches per project per month. So if you're using all 10, that's 5,000 searches a month. And again, that's an approximation. It's $297 and then just 97 bucks a month. So 10 of them for 97 bucks a month. That's under $10 a project. That's crazy. That is less than you would spend on 1 set of micro workers. And you've got 10 projects here. Another thing we're giving you is a bonus. We're giving you the 2nd month free. So you get the first 2 months of service for free with this. This is a limited time offer, and this is going to end Friday night, midnight Pacific time. Now, for those of you that are agencies or you want to be agencies, this is the perfect product to start an agency with because it gives you a foot in the door. You can run these projects cheap. You can show results, and then you can move them into bigger projects and other services. This is an absolute no-brainer for an agency. If you've got an agency, this is a perfect add-on to make mega profit. Notice you get 50 projects for $197 a month. That is about $4. It's a little less than $4 a project. So if you had 50 clients for $4 a month extra, you could run this on them, show them results, and charge them hundreds of dollars each. That's crazy profit. Again, we're giving the first 2 months free on the agency version. That ends Friday night, midnight Pacific time. So let's talk about I already told you the first massive bonus there was the first 2 months free. That is, again, limited to up to this Friday at midnight. Talk about the second bonus here. This is a live user data case study webinar. I'm going to do this webinar for you guys, and I'm going to show you how we use this. And I'm going to also show you how our clients are using this, how our customers are using this. We've looked at all the strategies, and we've picked out like the best formula for you to get fast results, not only for you, but for your customers if you're an agency. And we're going to do a live webinar showing you that, and then a Q&A afterwards for any questions that you might have. Doesn't matter if you're using it for yourself or if you're an agency doing this for others. This webinar will give you the secret sauce behind setting up a campaign that will absolutely kill it. Whether it's for you or your clients, it doesn't matter. You're going to want this. This alone is worth the price of admission right here. All right, so a lot of people ask me, why are we doing this so cheap? Why are we giving it away? Why would we give 50 projects out for $4 a piece? Why in the world would we do that? And I'll tell you, it's simple. It's self-serving. It's so we can populate this network. I don't want to see any land under our tags here. I want the land to be gone. So we're trying to populate the network as fast as we can, and that's why we're doing it so cheap. It's so, if you basically got to ask yourself this question. If you want to rank, knowing what you know now about Google 2.0, it'd be very difficult for you to rank without this sort of technology. So if you want to rank, go to sprout-tech.com/go and jump on this. I mean, get involved in this. This is something you can't get anywhere else. There it is again, the prices. The pro, you get 10 projects. The agency, you get 50. As far as keywords, that's up to 120 for the pro. It's up to 600 for the agency. Now keep in mind, this is based on you connecting devices to the network. You get 166 searches per device that you connect. So if you're connecting 3 devices to get the full 500, you've got to have that times 10 or that times 50. People freak out when I say that. It's like, don't worry, put that fear on hold. Devices are a dime a dozen. If you're an agency and you're doing this for customers, here's how you do it. You tell them, look, I've got this thing. You can tell them all about it. Some of the stuff I just told you. This is the only way to rank now. And it's open. It's available to you if you qualify. The qualification is they have to have 3 devices they can connect to the network. Guess what? Everybody, if they don't have 3, they're going to come up with 3 just to qualify because they're going to want this. If this is for you and you've got, maybe you've got 3 or 6 devices, but you don't have 30 and you want to use all 10 projects, really simple. You just go online, this little thing called eBay or another site called AliExpress, and you can buy used cell phones that are fairly recent that will run our app. You can get those with Android or iOS. I've been buying them for about $20 to $30 a piece. So you can get those fairly inexpensively. You do not need cell service. All you need is Wi-Fi. Just connect them on Wi-Fi. Not a problem. So again, this is an absolute no-brainer, whether it's for you or it's for your business to sell to others. Just pick the right one that makes sense for you, whether it's pro or agency. Pick one of them, because without it, you're going to have a really tough time ranking. This is what's making it easy. I promised to show you guys how to make it easy for you to rank for your keywords and not have fear of getting penalized. This is it. This is the best thing I could tell you about or offer to you right here. So here's some agencies. This is some guy says 6 sold for now. It literally sold itself. I'm excited to actually try now to sell. I know several people that did this, they sold a few at first and then it just opened up the doors. We've had several people that actually needed to upgrade the agency to get more projects, and we're able to do that when we are able to scale you as many projects as you need. Here's one, Mango Branding, immediately increased traffic to our website. would recommend any business. Here's another, I mean, these are just over the top of each other, people loving this. They're absolutely loving what this is doing and how it's working for them. Here's more case studies. These are all run in SEMrush, showing the rises after this thing started. There's another one where it was a rise, a fall, and a rise again. Again, the sandbox. Here's a tech company. Here's a semiconductor company. This one was extremely competitive, and it was the thing that moved the needle. There's a wine company. Again, a little bit of a Google dance, and then back on the climb. Here's automotive repair, same thing, up, down, and then steadily climbing back up to steady off. Here's business community. Not all sites get the Google dance, but if you do get it, don't let it scare you. There's a pest control company. I mean, we have literally tried this on everything. There's a charter company out of Australia. We've tried this on just about every type of business you can imagine. There's a project company in the UK. This works all over the world. So there you go, guys. I mean, this is it. Go to sprout-tech.com/go and get in on this. This is going to change things for you. This is the biggest game changer that you're going to see in SEO in the last decade, or possibly more. So, Todd, do we have any questions we want to address here? Hopefully, Todd. Hey, there you are.
Still here.
I didn't put you to sleep, did I?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just had to find the unmute button.
Cool.
Here it is. Yeah, I'm not quite used to Zoom as I am others, but yeah, there have been quite a few questions coming in. I see Chris over there. Chris is here now. And
oh, cool.
He's been answering some questions.
You know, one question that we should cover that it came up is if I only have 3 devices, how does all the searches from those 3 devices help me out? And so if you could kind of explain that we don't do the searches from just their devices.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, remember I told you that your devices make up our network. Our network is actually what's doing the searches for you. It's not necessarily just your devices. Your 3 become part of the network. So you could potentially get searches from all of the different devices in the entire network. Your devices are sending searches randomly to other people. Your device is not just sending searches for you. That would be foolish, and that would really not help you that much. What helps you is getting searches from all of this huge network. That's really what it's all about. Now, you will see searches from your own devices just because of the proximity. Like I said, any devices that are in close proximity to the business, it's going to hit those first. So some people will say, you know, I see my devices in the, you know, running the searches. And yes, they will, but you'll also get searches from other devices. Like, let's say you're in a very rural part of the country, and your devices literally are the only devices within 10 miles. Yes, your devices are going to run the first searches, but then it's going to go outside that 10-mile radius, hunting for the next closest locations of devices. And then it's going to start running searches from them. So hopefully that clears that up. That is a good one, though. I forgot to mention that, and that is important that people understand that. The more I do this presentation, the more I'm getting all the points across. Okay, let's see. Other questions? I'm not actually in the chat, guys. So Todd, if you can, Todd or Chris, if you want to throw anything out, throw it out at me.
All right, just looking through it here now.
One question that's out there is about the locations. So if you could talk a little bit about how, even if it's, I mean, how this works for both local keywords and national keywords, and that the locality or the proximity searches just don't matter for national keywords so much because it's just national searches.
Yeah, exactly. I had kind of covered that in the beginning of the presentation, but just to kind of go through it again, it doesn't really matter if you're a national keyword or you're a local business with local keywords. It still makes sense for you to get local proximity searches. Because even if you're, let's say you're a national company and you're in Los Angeles, chances are a lot of people in Los Angeles are going to know about you just because you're in the local community, even if you're a national company. So the idea that you get proximity searches for a national keyword still makes sense. You know, I get a lot of people tell me that doesn't make sense. Well, that's wrong. It does make sense. It makes sense for people in your local area to know about you. And that's what Google is really factoring in on this Google 2.0. They're looking at what have they discovered from looking at literally millions of searches a day. What are the patterns? What's normal, what's natural, and what is a ranking factor that should make them put you on top? And that proximity search is definitely one of them. So it absolutely makes a lot of sense, whether you're national or local. As far as keywords, if you're a local business, you can easily localize your keywords. I'm going to do that case study webinar. I'll probably do that next week for everybody that gets in. And I will go through that. I'll go through how you select your keywords, the best way, the best keywords to start with. And if you want to really maximize this, I'll show you how to do that over a period of months to really drive the right keywords up for you. You can get really fast action, and you can keep pulling better and better keywords forward as you go. The longer you do SEO, SEO is not a flash in the pan, guys. SEO is a long-term, forever type of thing. You can imagine if you start sending these signals and Google says, oh, you know, this site is really, really popular. We should put this at the top. And then all of a sudden you stop sending those signals. What do you think is going to happen? Google's not dumb. They're going to look at that. They reevaluate minute by minute, literally. So SEO is a long-term type of thing. So don't think you can do like SEO for a month and then stop. This is an ongoing battle, an ongoing war to fight for the top and stay there. So keyword selection is really important if you want to move the needle fast. And like I said, I'll show you how to pick the right keywords to get fast traction and get action really quickly. And then you can go for better and better keywords as long as you go. And like I said, the longer you run SEO, the more value you show, the more authority you build, and the better and more powerful keywords, those buyer type keywords, you'll start to rank for those before you know it.
Hey, John, you want to talk about how this helps with Google My Business and the maps rankings?
Sure. You know, you might actually know a little bit more about that, guys. If this is Chris, we talked him up in the beginning. He's the one that actually devised the software behind this, and he's brilliant at SEO. Some of those results I showed you, that was who I was talking about here. So I do know. Here's what I do know, and then I'll pass it over to you, Chris, and maybe you can give more detail on it.
Yeah, sure.
The Google My Business listings is tied to the authority of your website. And what we've seen, we didn't anticipate this when we developed this, but what we've seen as a byproduct is it does enhance your Google My Business listings and get you in the 3-pack. As far as like the ranking factors, I've never done a lot of that type of stuff. I'm doing more the other traditional SEO on websites. So more national type companies and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Chris, go ahead and share what you know about that.
All right. So, John, you're dead on right there. So basically, the way that you rank on the 3-pack, the maps listings, is very, very different than on organic listings. It doesn't follow the same algorithms at all. So we do not send traffic to Google My Business listings. That's a very common misunderstanding because it doesn't help. You could send the whole world to somebody on a Google My Business, and it's not going to help their ranking. But if you send the whole world to their website, it will rank their website. It'll be highly authoritative, and it will affect the Google My Business listing because their website is popular. So just like John said, when you rank your website, or when I say website, I mean the pages that are on your website, it'll indirectly rank your Google My Business. So that's how this works. So if you naturally do the right thing for your website, then your Google My Business will follow suit.
All right, cool. Other questions coming through? I know there's probably a lot of them that are the same. So,
Hey, John, can you talk about the training that goes along with this as well?
oh, sure. Yeah, when you guys get in, one of the things, you'll get 2 logins. I forgot to mention this. You get 2 logins when you purchase. Doesn't matter if you're in the pro or the agency. You still get 2 logins. One login is for our membership site. And that's where you'll find all the training, all the stuff about how to use it, proper use, the Q&A, our help desk, our support system. All of that stuff is in the members area. And then you actually get a login to the back office. This is where you set up your campaigns. This is where your projects live. And as far as when you get into the back office, that's where you can actually download the apps. If you're putting them on a cell phone, you can just literally go to the Apple Store. You can download from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And we've got the searches in there to run. Basically, you look for Marketing Assistant, and it's the one with the little blue light bulb. That's our app, and you can download that very, very easily. It's an easy install. One of the things I do want to mention here is I'm doing ongoing training for this as well. So every couple weeks, I'm actually doing like a live Q&A type webinar for anybody that's involved. So anywhere you need help, I'm basically there to help you live in that Q&A. And we've got several that have been recorded already that you can go in and see right now. But anyway, really, really good. We're really good on the support on this because Chris and I have been doing this, like we said, for many, many years. And there's almost nothing that we haven't seen in the SEO space. So whenever you need help with that, we're definitely a good source for that. Yeah, go ahead. Next question.
So does this work for e-commerce?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the things I wanted to get across, and I think I had said this in a few different ways, but I want to reiterate it here in a different way. We talk about 12 keywords. If you're talking about an e-commerce site, you've probably got 1,000 products. It's very possible you've got, more than 1,000 products. So how does that help? Well, it does. Remember the case study that I showed you? The guy that was tracking all of his keywords with Pro Rank Tracker? Just because you're focused, and this is not just because of Sitepop, this is in SEO in general. This has always been the case. When you did SEO for a particular keyword, if you do it right, it will rise all the variations of that keyword as well. So this does the same thing. So by focusing on, say, 12 main categories of product, you could effectively raise thousands of keywords in the organic search. So again, it's not a miracle. This is not something where you do nothing else and this just blows the doors off things. You still need the other 2 pieces of SEO. Your on-page factors have to be good. You've got to have content. This is made to work in conjunction with true SEO. So you need good content on your pages. In e-commerce, one of the biggest things that I see as a problem is you use the same title and same description on almost everything. It's thin content. So yeah, it will help to a certain extent, but if you do your other SEO pieces correctly, then it will really be like rocket fuel. So continue your link building. Just because you get this, it doesn't mean you can just stop everything else. Continue your link building like you always have. This just adds the authority to the fact that, hey, all of this stuff is real. Google 2.0, pay attention. This is a real deal here. So whether it's a commerce site, a local business site, a speaker's site, a book publisher's site. It really doesn't matter. SEO is SEO. Google's job is to figure out who belongs at the top for every keyword variation on the planet. So they have to do that. And when I started into this presentation, I told you I was going to tell you about Web 2.0, and that's where we're at. They're using artificial intelligence as that final piece to figure out and verify, is this site really authoritative? Does it really belong here? Or are they just trying to game the system with what they've been gaming the system with for years, which is just link building and on page? This is the final factor, the AI that Google has put in place to actually be their verification of whether you belong at the top or not. So hopefully I got that one covered.
That's a good one. So one other question that we've had a couple of times here is, can we upgrade at a later time if we want to start with the pro and then upgrade to the agency?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had many people that have already done that. A lot of people that got in on the pro level, they turned around, they sold it to a couple of friends, and they said, oh my God, I have to update. So yeah, the short answer is yes, absolutely. The long answer is a lot of people have been doing it. So not a problem.
That's about all the questions that are open right now, or that have been asked so far.
Okay, yeah, I figured, I've built so much into this presentation to pre-answer the questions that we've identified already. So, and most of them all fit into the same bucket. So I think we're good, guys. Seriously, go to sprout-tech.com/go. Because like I said, if SEO is important to you and you don't have this and you don't have any way to do this, you're missing the third of the algorithm that's really going to make a difference. And
another thing too is that we're going to be sending out a replay for this, and so you can watch this again. But we also encourage you to forward that replay onto other people who you might think might be interested in this as well, whether they're an agency or an individual who's doing SEO for themselves. We think that it can help everybody, because the more people in the program, the better off everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. The more customers, the more devices, the stronger this gets. So cool stuff. Well, any last minute stuff from you, Todd? Anything you want to add on top? I know you've been using this, and a lot of the guys that are following you are getting really good results at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing I want to say is, man, I was right on time with that hour and a half. Got right at 1 hour and about 15 minutes there. I think we had a 5-minute chit chat there in the beginning, but yeah, I just want to reiterate kind of what John was saying, sum it all up there, guys. This this CTR technology is what I call it. It's a click-through rate. It is where people come to Google, they type in a keyword and they scan the results and they find your site and click on it. And then they browse your site without bouncing back. I mean, that is one strong signal to Google. And it always has been. I'll go back to the Rand Fishkin slide that John pulled up there. And I remember when Rand did that many years ago. And it just proved. It proved it without a shadow of a doubt that this works. And then everybody was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So then there have been some other, and then of course John was proved his information. That's kind of why Rainmaker came out so many years ago and worked really well. And then Chris came along and made everything so much better with his great development team that he has. I know Chris personally. I know his CTO personally, and obviously I know John personally as well. I vouch for all three. They just do an amazing job with the amount of knowledge that they have. And the tremendous amount of technology development team they have. I too also have a development team, so I know a little bit about that as well. So I'm just glad to be a part of this. I'm glad to be able to bring it out here and introduce it to as many of my friends as I can, and as many people that I know. We have quite a few people inside the system as well. And nothing but rave reviews. People are indeed getting movements on their sites. You know, one thing about that you really should know is that, you know, not all sites are equal, but just to be completely honest, you know, you do need, you know, somewhat of a healthy site. You know, hopefully none of you are out there just building trash sites and then thinking that they're going to be worth anything in the long run. So just make sure that as you're building your websites, you know, understand on-page SEO, understand content, things of that nature. It's really simple to understand that part of the equation. There's so much basic SEO on-page knowledge out there that you can go out and just YouTube or you know, I'm sure, you know, John has training in there too. I know we have a lot of training on that stuff as well. But just do that and you will see far better results. Knowing a little bit about on-page SEO and keywords and title tags, just the very, very basics of SEO. You got to make sure that you're on point with that. Okay, guys, do not forget about that. I mean, everybody wants the, you know, the silver bullet and the magic pill, but and sometimes you can in certain areas, but not with Google. Google has many ranking factors. As John pointed out earlier in the presentation, you know, this is a big one. This is a big one. And what we see time and time and time again is that sites are on page 2 or 3 or the bottom of page 1 move up. And that's what we want for our sites. That's what we want for our client sites. I mean, if you are a digital marketing agency, or if you do have a few clients that are moving up in the rankings, you know, you've been working on for quite some time, and gosh, you know, you just really wish you could get them to page 1, and just how happy they're going to be and how much longer they're going to pay you for getting them on page 1. And there's another tip for you guys. If you have the product, and just go out and, you know, find maybe a niche that you're interested in, that you know something about, that you could speak intelligently about, that you know the lead value, that you know what to charge and things like that. Go to page 2 and copy those 10 down. Look up their contact information. Give those guys a ring and say, hey, you know, I'll give you a 30-day free trial to be on page 1. Put them in the system and watch them move. Okay, just watch them move, and then watch them start paying you. There's no better way, you know, to do this, to improve it, because it's like, you know, I mean, we already went over all the pricing for you. It is so cheap per campaign. It's ridiculous, simply ridiculous on the agency level. Even the pros cheap, but ridiculously cheap on the agency level. Go to page 2. You know, get on the phone. Don't be scared, and just be confident that you can move people up. Give them a little bit of a free trial, and then watch what happens. And then that's going to lead to some cash flow, guaranteed. A lot of people are doing it that way. That's one way that we recommend on how to fill up those 50 projects. It doesn't take much to go out there and look people up, and give somebody. If you give some people a free 30-day, they're more than likely take you up on it and to see what happens. So that's really what I wanted to say out there. Gosh, I could probably talk for another half an hour about this kind of thing, because I mean, I'm just so excited about it, and I've just seen the results, and this is just no BS coming from no BS guys. I'm sure, you know, there's some of you out there that have seen some of the BS, you know, out there in this space, that, you know, you push the button and you automatically rank because of some blog posts. So, you know, 10 backlinks on Squidoo and you're on page 1. I remember those days. But no, that's not what this is, guys. This is not what this is. This is the real deal. This is stuff that actually works, proven to work. You know, John's been an SEO agency for many, many years, and has many, many clients, as he showed you before. Chris is in the same boat as well. Chris is a big agency. He has many, many big clients. He's got a great development team, and they develop not only this software, but many, many other great pieces of software that help you in the digital marketing space. So, you know, once you get on board, once you become an active customer with these guys, you're going to be exposed to a lot more of their great technology and training and experience So in my opinion, there's so much more to this than just the software. Now, the software is obviously what you're going to get in for, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from it. But I think moving forward in the future, the more you get to know Chris and John, and then, John and Chris will, also expose you to me and some of the things that I do as well. Down the road, I won't deny that. But I just can't speak highly enough of these guys. And, if you get in, I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna see some positive results. You got to take action. Don't just get this thing and then sit on your hands. Really dive in, feet first. The one tip I gave you, go to page 2. Typically, when sites are on page 2, they're healthy. They've done a decent job with their on-page SEO. You can always make tweaks to your on-page to sometimes bump them up even further. We'll get into all that, but there are some things you can do for people's on-page to make them better. But typically, if they're on page 2, they are healthy, and they have the ability to move to page 1, provided they have, just a little bit more positive effects of some of the Google's ranking algorithm, whether it be, more backlinks. Too many backlinks is bad. You got to be careful with that. Got to be real careful with that. But as we all know, there are certain things that we can do as an SEO to bump those rankings up. And this, my friends, right here is one that really works. And I will also say this, that there have been some other services out there in the past, over the past, 10 years, let's just say, that have tried to create something like this, and they go out there and they buy all these proxies. And at first it worked okay, but then now Google knows what proxies are, and that just will not work for you anymore. So there's some services out there that you can find that will take your money, but they won't tell you that it really doesn't work all that well, because Google is going to see that all of the searches are coming from proxies. The way this is different, as we've pointed out over and over again, is you install the software on your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, and that's what it uses. Not only your devices, but every single device in the network. If it's a local search term, then obviously it'll look for devices in that specific area first and start hitting it with those devices. And then it'll start spreading itself out, further away as it needs to find more searches and hits. So, Chris's team has done an amazing job of coding all of that stuff in. The logic behind it is outstanding. And, I wouldn't be behind this product if I didn't know it worked, number one, and number two, knowing the people that are behind it. So I guess that's all I have. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on. Mr. Ahmed sent me a message about half an hour ago, and he was having a little bit internet difficulties. His Zoom was crashing on him a little bit. That's why he was kind of like fell off there right as he passed it over to me earlier. But he wanted to tell me to tell everyone, thanks for coming on, spending an hour and a half with us today. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to John for putting on another amazing presentation. Always learn something new when I see this. This is my third time, I believe, to see this exact one. I noticed you added in some more goodies today. That was awesome. Always see that. And we do appreciate it. Chris, thank you for coming on and answering all those questions in the background there. I see you were typing a mile a minute.
Yep,
that was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's really all I have, guys. I can't say enough about these guys, and my highest recommendation. And here's another question coming in. But thank you, Addie. I appreciate it. Thank you once again. All right, guys. Chris and John, I guess, we did kind of cruise through this at the 1 hour and a half mark, but we got a couple of more minutes left. If you guys have anything else you want to say, or if anybody else has any last burning question, I don't want to just run everybody away. If you still have something you want to ask, I mean, we're sitting here and we'll certainly answer it real quick. But if there are no more questions, then we will let everybody go.
I think we're good on the question side as far as people asking questions.
Okay. Yep. I don't see any more coming in. John, anything on your end?
Well, I'm gonna save the good secret sauce for all those that get in, and I'll share that on the private webinar next week with all our new customers there.
Okay, great. Yeah, guys, don't forget, that's another thing is that, there will be weekly webinars, maybe not every week, but especially here right now with a lot of new people coming in and a lot of new questions being, asked. John is going to be manning those and heading those up. And again, you're going to learn a lot from John and Chris moving forward. So yeah, that's just going to be a super added benefit at no cost to you. It's just for part of being. It's just a part of being in the program. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I have. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you, John and Chris, and thanks to everyone that's already bought. I saw a lot of new customers coming down the pipe. So, congratulations to you, and we will see you in the members area and on the future webinars. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.